For more on all this, let's bring in Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. Mr. Tuberville, as always, sir, welcome. Some of what I said is tongue-in-cheek, but actually I'm being quite serious. Iowans know it's going to be cold in January. Montanans know it's going to be cold in January. Pretty much everybody except John Kerry knows it's going to be cold in January. And we also know it's going to be hot in August. And this global warming stuff and Green New Deal stuff and over $1 trillion, I say it's a hoax. There is no immediate danger. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Please disagree if you do. But I just think this is a hoax.
Well, I've always said that John Kerry's a climate con, Larry. It's a money grab. That's all it is. It's a money grab. We spent what, $1.2 trillion on the infrastructure bill. These EV cars were going to be really hot. Well, they're hot, all right. We're supposed to have built close to 500,000 charging stations across the country with this infrastructure bill. You know how we built? Zero. We built 0 charging stations, and that's how it's going to be. If we're going to do it, it's got to be privatized like gas stations. It's not going to work for the federal government getting in the EV car business or charging station business. And you said a while ago about Iowa, you know, it's going to be cold. It's like a football game, Larry. Both teams have to play in that weather. So it's going to be even. Hey, go out and vote. If you want to go to a caucus, go. We need a true turnout there. But again, it's up to the people.
Look, the Washington Post deserves some credit because at least they wrote a story about these sub-freezing temperatures and so forth, sub-zero temperatures. Where's everybody else? Where's MSNBC? Where's CNN? Where's the New York Times? I mean, they will celebrate a couple of hot days in the summer as the beginning of the end of the world because of global warming, climate change, but they don't want to write much when it gets cold. And I just think it shows how dumb this is. And it shows there's a war going on. There's a war against American people. There's a war against American motorists. There's a war against gasoline, electricity, home heating. And I just wanted to bring that up because I think that's going to be part of the Iowa vote. Because you know what? Trump is right. Liquid gold. And the people in Iowa are in favor of fossil fuels. They make a lot of ethanol out there. So there. That's my take.
Well, you're exactly right. And of course, I hope you saw John Kerry had to release his budget with his staff today, almost $5 million for just salaries for his climate con staff. And it amazes me how they continue to push this when there's nothing behind it. We've listened to scientists after scientists, Larry, that's come to Washington, D.C. and talk to us, and they all say the human and mankind cannot affect the climate. It's not going to happen, but it's just something else that they're trying to send money overseas, and, you know, we're subsidizing all these other countries. Of course, China's building a new coal plant almost weekly, so it's not going to make any difference. You
know, Ms. Trump said this the other night at the Fox town hall with Brett Baer and Martha McCallum. He said, because of high gasoline and high oil prices, which is because of a shortage of production because of the war against fossil fuels, because of that, Russia making a lot of money, right, selling oil, that's their cash crop, all of a sudden they could afford to go into Ukraine. And that looks like the same thing is true of Iran. I mean, I think Trump struck a very important chord. In fact, I want to ask you about that. I don't know whether you saw that town hall. I thought it was a real turning point in the Trump campaign when he said, I'm not into retribution. I'm going to have too much success to have time for it. Did you see any of that, Senator Tuberville?
Well, I mean, he speaks the truth every time he gets up there, and that's what this campaign's got to be about, Larry. We can't deal with 4 more years of these clowns running this show. I don't know who's running it. Of course, we found out that Joe Biden for 5 days during all these problems in Iran and Israel and Yemen that he didn't know his Secretary of Defense was AWOL. So it's an interesting time being in Washington, D.C. and listening and hearing all the things go on. But we've got to have leadership, Larry. You know that. And President Trump, every time he gets in front of a microphone, he speaks the truth. He tells everybody, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we got to do it. And we got to get everybody involved.
By the way, just speaking of Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, so we hit the Houthis finally. We're not hitting Iran yet. We hit the Houthis. I presume there was negotiations and discussions about that. But as you said, Austin was AWOL. I don't know if Biden knew he was AWOL or not. You've had quite a few run-ins with Mr. Austin, but he's determined to hang on. He does not want to resign. He barely acknowledged that he made a mistake. What do you think of that whole episode here?
Well, first of all, you got to look back last summer. For 4 days, it took 4 days for Secretary of Defense to tell President Biden about the balloon coming across our country. 4 days. He didn't know it. And then, of course, it took 5 days for him to find out that, Secretary of Austin was in the hospital. Of course, we were bombed some of our bases in those 5 days. You would think he would get on the phone or tell his secretary, somebody call Secretary Austin and tell him, give me an update. He was obviously just totally out of it. And it's kind of a slap in the face to the president. So it goes to show you and puts question marks there, Larry. Who's running the show? Is it Obama? Is it somebody, a bunch of kids in the White House that think they have all this power? We got all these problems. They're mounting up every day, and we get no answers. Nobody will tell us in Congress and the Senate about who's pulling the strings on all this.
Well, it's an important question. Not sure anybody can answer that question. I think eventually the voters are going to answer that question. Senator Tuberville, I've got one more for you. Yet another announcement by the Biden administration about canceling student loans, which is another slap in the face of the Supreme Court that said you don't have the authority to do this. You know, sir, you talk about democracy and breaking the law and insurrections. What about the Bidens? What about the student loan story? Here we go again.
Well, has no respect for the law, Larry. His numbers don't look good. He was supposed to announce this in July. He was going to start doing it again and forgiving loans, but now he's moving it to February. This is going to be $475 billion. That's going to cost the taxpayers in the next 10 years. There's no such thing as forgiveness. We know that. Larry, the American people need to know this. We are borrowing $80,000 a second as we speak. $80,000 a second, not a minute. That's $4.6 million a minute that the American taxpayers' credit card is being billed. We better wake up, because we're going to wake up too late, and it's going to be over with. I don't know whether we can make it 10 more months, but I think the American people are not just the Republicans, but are Democrats are just about sick of all this mess.
I want to sneak one in on this, sort of the theme of U.S. government going bankrupt. New numbers out from the Treasury Department and the Congressional Budget Office. We're headed for another $2 trillion budget deficit. Now, Mr. Biden says he cut the deficit by $1.7 trillion. He got a bottomless Pinocchio for that from the Washington Post. But we're headed for yet another $2 trillion deficit year, Senator Tuberville. I don't know how long that can last either.
We just went over a record number, Larry, of people working for the federal government, 23 million, most ever. We can't afford it. The American taxpayer deserve a lot better, but we're not doing anything in Washington, D.C. to make it better. So hopefully President Trump, when he gets elected, will answer all these questions, because we're in dire straits as we speak.
Yes, sir. Senator Tommy Tuberville, thank you for spending time.